Hey guys, this is Janjua and welcome to Thor. This is episode 20. We're going to be talking about The Old God, which is a new Netflix film which is trending right now, and it's going to be a really cracking episode. So me and Pri are going to really go into this film and see, how cool it is. Stay tuned for another episode of The House of R.E.P. Alright people, welcome to episode 20 of The House of R.E.P, aka Thor. I'm your host, Janjua. I'm a filmmaker, director, and producer. My team is called the R.E.P Knights. I'm joined by one of my team members, Pri. She's the R.E.P Valkyrie. Hey, say hi, Pri.
Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for listening to us. We're going to talk about.
The Old God. I missed my cue there for a second. I wasn't expecting that, but that's what's so cool about the show. It's really dynamic and unscripted. So, really, it's really great because, we're all passionate creatives. Pri being a singer and, really great creative and stuff, and me being a filmmaker and, loving all this kind of creative stuff. We're doing all this great kind of cool things. So, the R.E.P Nights love movies, love reviewing movies, and I created this show to really get my voice out there so people could hear that there's a guy reviewing films that actually knows what he's talking about and, is a fan of movies. So this is for film lovers by filmmakers. So yeah, let's just get into it. Pri, tell me about this film, The Old God.
Where shall I start, Ray? Should I start with the good part or the bad part?
Well, first of all, let's talk about how we were brought into the film.
Okay, so what we're gonna say, when we saw the trailer, the trailer was indeed very good, very appealing. It was one of the main reasons we were drawn to watch this movie. We wanted to watch some action movie, and when we saw the trailer and what people have said, like I was like, okay, we should just go for it. And even the poster, when we saw, it's like, wow, it's a badass poster. I love it totally. But when we watched the movie, I guess we're gonna talk about scene by scene, definitely. But I just have one word for this movie, to be very honest. Very predictable. Sorry, two words. Very predictable.
Yeah, so it's very predictable.
So
It's
yeah,
not as
that
good as we thought it was, is it?
no, because we were really hoping, like, this is going to be like an amazing, like 2020 badass action movie. We love this actor, this Charlize as well, and when we saw her, I'm like, this is definitely, like, we're gonna do a really good podcast about it, but it really, like, not to reach our expectations. So why don't we talk about the plot and scene by scene? And I believe today what I wanted to tell the people is, like, for the scene, like how differently Ray could have done. We want to talk about that as well.
Yeah, we'll talk
So
about that
definitely,
definitely.
let's crack on with the scene.
Yeah, so we'll touch on like key plot points and the overall arcing story. I agree totally with what Pre's saying about our expectations for the film. The trailer shows us one thing, and then the actual reality of the film is different. So you learn. I've learned a long time ago that you should never really trust a trailer. Trailers are really great and brilliant tools for like giving people a tease to get them to kind of commit to the film, and they did a wonderful job with the trailer and the the poster art and everything. The idea of this is based on a comic book, and then it's been adapted into the screenplay, and then this film is about a group of immortals who are mercenaries, and there are a lot of, it's kind of like Highlander with guns, and that's one of the first problems I have with the film. So basically it is kind of almost a clone of Highlander, but without the beheading and the sword work and the idea of the prize. So what it is that the setup is, and then I'll be putting a spoiler zinger before this, so that you guys can, watch the movie before you listen to this podcast, or just listen to this podcast if you, just want to hear about the movie, find out about it, if you like that sort of thing, and then go watch the movie, and then you can just like see what I mean about, the various kind of issues with the film and the good stuff. So, like, touching on the really good stuff, this film's got some decent action in it. So some of the choreography is really good, and some of the fighting's good. But there's a power imbalance between the immortals and the regular humans, and also their levels of strength and IQ change. and fluctuate very badly in the film as sort of like plot points to kind of anchor the story. And I think that that's like a fundamental flaw in the execution of the screenplay. Perhaps the screenplay isn't as predictable as it was written, but possibly in its actual execution, from a directing point of view, they were unable to fully realize the vision and the depth of this film. So, some of the highlights that I would like to say is that Chiwetel Ejiofor is just an amazing actor. He's someone I want to work with for a long time. He plays a CIA agent who betrays the order, this old guard, and then he tries to basically get their power to like help him. He thinks he's helping humankind, but then he teams up with some scrupulous pharmaceutical scientist and kind of Facebook kind of dude kind of thing. And so that's another kind of predictable kind of bad guy thing. And there's a lot of problems with the film, so we'll start at the start. So tell me about the start.
Well, at the beginning, when who was that again? They had to go to that location, right, to help the.
So they've been operating as this like specialist team that the government love to basically use,
Yeah.
and they've got a returning client. But normally, Charlize Theron's character Andy, who's this ancient Italian, like warrior or something like that, she's reluctant to have the team work with them again. She only
Yeah,
works
and
with like
and
one
and
people at a time.
and when they went to that location, like they were literally ambushed. That's how the movie started, isn't it?
Yeah, so they
And
start taking out people and they go in there, but there is no it's like some human trafficking thing. They think that some children, I can't remember if they were in Lagos or Nigeria or Cambodia or something like that. I can't remember what the country they were in, but basically there were these kids that were kidnapped by slavers,
mm.
and they thought that those kids were gonna disappear, but they were no kids.
But the funny part is like when they started getting out, we started realizing that oh, I'm sure they've been filmed at the moment, and it happened the next day. They were literally filmed.
Yeah. So we kind of predicted that they were being basically tested, and the bit when they got kind of shot up was a bit silly, and then they healed and then took the team out, like the team that killed them. So that action scene, that could have gone a lot better. Me personally, the entire concept of the film, the idea is cool about immortals who have been around for centuries that just don't die, but they wouldn't just kind of
I
like
mean,
lay low.
I mean, as you said right now, the idea is definitely cool. I like it with the Immortals, but the execution of the movie, the way it should be portrayed, to make it appealing, to make it different, to make it, for the viewers to like it. I mean, that part is missing.
There's a lot of bits that are missing. Like, the film lacks things like car chases,
Oh, okay,
action,
yeah.
things like that. It's a very slow film. Even the way the immortals kind of are made is you don't see it.
Mm.
So there's not enough backstory about how Charlize Theron got her abilities, how those guys got their abilities. We never see them dying, like or how they died. So that's a problem number one with the film. Problem number two is if you've been around for like centuries and you're like old, like I'm talking about you're hundreds of years old, you wouldn't put money away. You wouldn't start influencing, like making an order or a guild or some kind of a secret society if you really wanted to help the world. Yeah, why would you help the world in such a small way and then lament saying that, like, so there's bits where Charlize Theron's like, oh, we've been doing this for years, but are we really making a difference in the world and stuff like that? And I'm like, you can make a massive difference, because if you had just kept gold and art from centuries ago, you'd be like a trillionaire, and then you could use your money, power, and influence to create agents. And this is what I would have done with the storyline. I would have had it so that they have a lot of influence. They have children, and they have like adoptive children and stuff and lineage that they've created, and they all help them. So they're able to operate from the shadows, but they have many agents who do their work for them, the groundwork. So the intelligence network outrivals something like the CIA, things like the FBI. All these kind of
But
organizations are actually offshoots of what they created.
but but I mean, this is applied to only specific people who have the power.
Mm.
I mean, they were still hunt. I mean, they get those dreams to get that. I mean, how are you going to portray that? I mean, if you have children and all those things, I mean, first of all, are they able to give birth? And secondly,
They
like
can
if they
because they've
even if
had
they
children, but the power doesn't transfer, so we can still keep all of that
but
law
those other
intact.
people will not have it, isn't it?
They don't have it, no, but
So how are you going to create that group?
what we would have is the original group remains
Mm-hmm.
connected. That's never really messed around with. But what they do is they build a network of people, allies.
Hmm.
You know, I also found that them getting captured. You know, the bit with the with her companion that she had. I don't know if they were like lovers or something. The Chinese fighter. When
Mm-hmm.
she got captured and they got captured, nobody fights. You know, like they're immortals. They can break
I
their
mean,
arms
yes,
and limbs
you're
and
true
escape.
on that part because they have the power. They can do anything. They've been fighting as a warrior with other people. When they were actually captured, why didn't do
And
anything?
why were they captured? How could they be captured?
Yeah, true. And then when they were separated, I mean, Charlize could have used her power to, I don't know, there are like bits and pieces like
There's
went
elements of the
wrong.
story that have too many plot holes. Like, for one, there should have been a cabal of evil people that have always thirsted for this power. I'm talking about like warlocks and people who want to basically use it for evil.
I mean,
Somehow,
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt, honey. You know, when they were being captured, they could have had it added another thing like a I don't know, like a shield or something. When they wear it, they lose their power, so that's why they're captured. But they had their power when they were captured. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
mean, they were using against it. I don't understand why they didn't fight when they had the power. And if they have to do that in that movie, they could have had like a bracelet or a ring. It
yeah,
loses everything, the power, so they are helpless. They can't do anything.
yeah.
And then when
But they're
they,
still resourceful.
yeah, I mean, I don't understand this fact of showing one thing they're warriors and one thing they're captured, one thing they can't do anything, and then they're separated. I
Mm.
mean,
I totally agree.
what?
This is that power imbalance that I was touching on earlier. So basically, they can take out 20 people, but when they choose to, they suddenly get weak.
Don't understand.
And also, you make a safe house. So the setup at the start, right, is that they escape, and then they have a dream about somebody getting activated, which is a new character. So basically, there is a actress who plays a new character, and she's one of the new, recently awoken immortals. So that's Kiki
Kiki
Lane. She
Lane.
plays Niles Freeman. So she's a Marine who served in Afghanistan, and then Andy, who's Adramasia of Cynthia, and like Booker, Joe, Nikki, all these different characters. They're like, Joe and Nikki are crusaders who mutually killed each other, but then fell in love with each other. um, Joe, Joe is also his lover. Booker is Sebastian Lelivre. He was a French soldier who fought under Napoleon and basically like survived through that. So basically, they're the Fable Four, and then Kiki joins them. Sorry, they're kind of like I think there's five of them. So
Yes, there are four. The
the
three guys, Charlize, and then Kiki joined.
yeah, so there's five of them in total, and
No, there were the lady, the Chinese lady in the
oh,
past.
so yeah,
Oh, there was one
and the other guy
guy.
too. There was another black guy,
Yes.
and he was cool as well, but he stopped healing. So what
Yes.
happens is eventually the other arc is that it just stops working after a little while and you die. So that's a bit strange. So you've been kind
Yeah.
of chosen to kind of shape the earth and then help influence the earth and then you die. So where is that influence is not properly touched on. They try to touch on it with Chiwetel Ejiofor, where he's been able to map all of Andy's deeds that she's done over the years, and her deeds have then led to like have led to certain things. But it has this kind of like classic savior trope where one person is responsible for everything, whereas I would have had it so that she is part of this organization that she created, kind of like the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or some kind of brotherhood or order, and who called the Old Guard. And the Old Guard have influence everywhere, and they're at war with another organization who want to take that power and give it to only people that they want. So some kind of elite evil organization, and that's where they're at odds with each other. And then that's evolved into a greedy CEO, that's evolved into corrupt government officials, and things like that. So the film's plot elements, the storyline, sets up in a nice way at the start, but then it kind of goes all over the place.
I mean, going back to the scene of that army ranger. I mean, when they went to that place when Kiki went and when she captured that person. I mean, don't you think that was so predictable when she turned her head like that guy like I mean,
Yeah, and no soldier would do that. No soldier would like, basically not check the guy first for hidden weapons. Isn't it like normally within their routine to once you like have engaged a target and then you drop the target, you check that target, you clear that target of weapons, and then you apply medical aid. You understand what I'm trying to say? You make sure that the environment is as safe as it can be for you to administer aid on this person. So the fact that she didn't check the knife, she didn't check it, was very sloppy of her as a marine. So there's a lot of things in that scene that could have been a lot better. They wouldn't really be that stupid if they've been in Afghanistan for so long.
The thing is that the scene that they did that obviously is mainly because she wants to know about her power.
Yeah,
If they want to do that, they could have a fight, yeah.
yeah, they could have had a fight.
And then that guy would have stabbed her.
Yeah,
And then she realized like she's healing, something which is not predictable, which is like action, interesting,
it would have been
appealing.
really cool. Yeah, it would have been
Y-
really cool if, for some reason, she helps the team escape,
Yeah, and
and
somebody
they get away, and then they're like, "Come!" and then she gets shelled by like a rocket or something, and the rocket kills her or
yeah,
something after she
something.
sacrificed herself for the team, and then she wakes up after dead or something.
Yeah,
You
if she
know?
has to show like the
Yeah,
power, like some different scene,
yeah,
not when she's
something more
there.
sacrificial.
Yeah, and when she's there, like when she's turning Frisha, I'm like, you were telling, like, they have to check it. I don't
And what
understand.
were what were her colleagues doing? They weren't. I mean, they had already cleared the room.
Or maybe she was too young or naive, but even though
She
she's
didn't
young,
seem like a rookie.
it,
They looked
it,
like they were there for about 2 years in deployment or something. I don't know. I can't remember the backstory, but from like a
but
legit.
even though they're young and naive, they should be alert and should know the protocol, isn't it? What needs
Yeah,
to be done.
yeah.
So yeah, as I said, like if they have to let her know her power, that could be, as you said, a sacrifice. I mean, something like she's stabbed or something when they're in a fight or something. Then she has a healing power. She recovers in a different way. But that scene, that slicing part, hmm, I don't know.
Then she wakes up in the morgue, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, like the government want to experiment on her," and her friends think of her as a freak, and stuff. So it's really interesting. I mean, this is
And again, another predictable thing when she went back was hearing to her music, and then Charlize came in. I mean, we knew that time Charlize was gonna come.
mm, mm.
Don't you think,
Yeah,
Annie?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, we don't want something predictable with movie. We want something interesting. Which we don't know what's going to happen next, and
Mm.
which really like appeals that. Oh wow, we didn't thought about. It. We were hoping that happened, but shit, that didn't happen. Something else happened. That thrill of watching
This
a
is the
movie.
thing. I mean, the film is supposed to be exciting, but at times it's so boring because like Kiki will Kiki who plays Niall. So Niall will basically go, "So you're really old. Tell me about yourself." And then like Charlize Theron's Andy will just shrug and go, "It's a long story. I'll tell you later." And I'm like, "No, we want to
No.
know now. We want to know what you did back in the
Uh,
day." I know this film has only a budget of 70 million, but we could have
70
seen.
million?
Yeah, we could
Are you
have.
serious?
We could have
No,
done
no, no, no.
more.
Wait. Sorry, people. Did you
Yeah,
just say
it
seven
has a
zero?
budget of 70 million. Yeah,
Wow,
and it
guys,
doesn't look like
guys,
it's.
if you give that to this rep night,
If you gave it to us, we'd do a lot
if
more.
you give us that opportunity, give us to rep nights, I'm telling you guys, you will see an epic movie which you have never seen in this whole wide world, maybe even the universe. I'm not just
Mm,
saying it. I'm like 70 million.
yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry, but sorry, I have to say this. Sorry.
So
Carry
Jane,
on.
so Gina Prince Blythewood, yeah, she directed this film. So this is an adaptation of Greg Rucka's Old Guard comic, and she's the first black woman to direct a big budget comic book film. So that is an amazing achievement. But that being said, there are still too many problems in this film, and Skydance did a great job in trying to push this. But for a budget of 70 million, I'm like wondering where are the car chases? Where's the intricate set pieces and gunplay for the film? And there's just way too many kind of like the guys. Like let's take for instance Matthias, yeah, and Marwin who play Joe and Booker, right? Um, you see Yusuf and Nikki, sorry, no, Luca who plays Nikki. They're both enemies. So he was a Muslim warrior and he was a Christian crusader, and now they're lovers. right? So where is that backstory fight? When they hated each other. Then over the years, where they kind of have this love for each other. Then on top of that, yeah, why if they're so skilled, then how can they allow themselves to be captured? You
Mm-hmm.
know? So why did they not have
If,
sensors or tripwires or something? They know people are always going to try and come for them and come for their power. So why the fuck don't they have armor or battle armor or magic? Like, what I wanted to put into the film was is that, you know, Andromasia of Cynthia, Andy's character, Charlize Theron, and obviously I'm murdering the pronunciation of her full
who's
title,
that?
but basically Andy, Charlize Theron's character, is the oldest one, and she has that axe. There's a
Mm.
signature axe that makes the logo of the film.
Oh
I
yes.
would have made that axe be like some wicked axe that she can throw with some kind of energy, and she can bring it back. Like she can call it back, kind of like Thor's hammer. And basically, that was imbued by some warlocks she saved in like Scotland or something, And I would have added a little bit more mystical kind of like so that there is magic, but they don't know if their power comes from magic or comes from like some kind of like spiritual entity, like some deity, like God or something. They're not sure, and that's the mystery of it. And then genetically, on a genetic level, they have healing factor like Wolverine and long life, but it's hard for geneticists to trace where or what the catalyst is.
It,
So
it
it's a
should be it
conundrum
should
for
be
them.
more like the weapon. What is this weapon called again? The axe.
Yeah, her axe.
It should be connected to her,
Yeah,
like she and her.
yeah.
It gives like 100% power.
See, that would be cool.
It's like she and her are connected. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't work the axe alone. It doesn't work. I mean, she has a power
yeah,
herself,
yeah.
but when she the axe, then when she holds it,
You can infuse your energy
it's
into the
like it's
weapon.
it's interconnected, like only to her.
See, now that's a wicked
That
idea.
that's a freaking wicked
Yeah,
idea.
so if
But
someone picks it up, it's just a normal axe, but then she can call it out of
no, no,
someone's
not the
hand or
calling part.
something.
If we do the calling part, we are kind of like similar to Thor. I don't
It's
want that.
okay if
No,
it's
no,
like
no. It
that.
has to
Like,
be different and unique. Sorry.
no, I
it.
think it's still good. Like, I think her because you could have lots of wicked scenes where she throws it and grabs it back.
Hmm.
So she can spin it, throw it, catch it,
But
throw it
only
again.
she and her have the connection.
Yeah,
They infuse their power,
yeah.
and it's I don't know. It's some kind of a connection with that weapon,
Yeah,
with
because
that
it's
axe.
just a normal weapon in the film, and there's nothing spectacular about it, which makes you think, why is this like a comic book film? I
And
don't get
even
that.
even if they want to pass on that axe to that new recruit, I mean, it should be like I don't know, like she's like Charlize is losing her power,
Mm.
like healing power, and then if a new recruit comes in,
She's
if
got to lead them or
like
something.
the axe have some kind of finding a new bearer, I don't know, and then she finds it like connection. I'm diverting it, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It's like, there has to be not sort of like a MacGuffin, but there has to be tools that
Maybe
the
the
ancients used.
X finds the bearer or something. So Charlize was the bearer for the egg, and then the new recruit. If they, I don't know what was the plot of the movie again, because she was losing the power, and this new recruit come. Who's going to take over her power? Are they trying to say
I
like
don't know.
that?
What they were basically trying to say is that they've been around as mercenaries for a long time,
So who's
but they
going to be
can
the
heal.
next Charlize? Is going to
It's
be
supposed to
the
be Nile.
the
She's
new
supposed to
recruit.
be the new
So that means
generation.
that X should be connected like the new bearer or something. I don't know. Something interesting. I'm not a film director, but something interesting, appealing to viewers like
No, but
us.
even as a sort of like a, like as an audience member, you're watching this film
Yeah.
from an audience member. Like, just take away the filmmaker part of it.
Hmm.
When you were watching it, you were confused.
Yes,
You
exactly.
see what I mean? And that's not what you
I'm
want to
like,
do.
what's going on?
There's
I
too many
mean,
threads. There's too many strings to pull at.
yeah, like one thing happens, another thing happens. I'm like, it needs to be interconnected, even if it's like one thing is they're showing something else, another thing says something else. At the end, it should collide, right? It should merge, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is the biggest problem. So Chiwetel Ejiofor lost his wife to disease, so he's been studying the immortals forever. Okay, that kind of comes out of nowhere, and then he's sort of like bad, then he's good again. Niall gets thrust into the world, and suddenly she's the only one who can save him. You get what I mean? Like this is the weirdest thing when they all get kind of captured and stuff, and Booker betrays them. So Booker decides to betray them at that single point in time. He never thought about betraying them before because his sons died and he couldn't give the power to them. So everything when you're coming into the film feels like very convenient for just the film time. Not it hasn't been planned before. So this is the thing. Wouldn't Booker be planning this for many years to betray them?
Yeah.
And have his own little army or his own group of
I
mercenaries.
mean that part, like the connection he had with his son, that was emotional. Yeah, it's a good part. Yeah,
But we should have seen it
but
fully.
it should be connected in a different way.
Yeah.
Don't you think? It
Yeah.
was at the very, like, after half of the movie. I
I
mean,
mean, it would have been nice if Booker and his son went on adventures and then his son died on an adventure and he's out living his children and loved ones, but he just wished that he could, give them his blood or give them something,
and this
and
has to happen after centuries.
yeah, it would have been amazing if one of his sons who he loved so much died in his arms and he was begging him for like blood or some way to stay. That would have haunted Booker forever.
Hmm.
So
I don't know. There's no connection. There's that.
I
I'm
don't see why people
speechless.
love it so much.
I
It's
don't
getting a lot of
know.
rave reviews and people saying it's like one of the best Netflix films that's out for a while. But I don't see that. I've seen other films that are way
I
better
mean,
than
if
this.
they say the trailer and the poster is wicked, I would definitely agree to that.
Uh,
But when I watched the movie, well, at the very beginning, I said very predictable. And sorry to say this, but I want something different, different
mm,
outlook of the movie. And with the 70 million, mm,
they could have done better.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, you're kind of disappointed the way they did it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
like,
mean, even you said it with James Copley. I can't pronounce his name properly. I mean, you said like he should be with the good guys, isn't it? At the
yeah,
beginning.
Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, James Copley, who's the CIA agent, the former CIA agent grieving for his wife. I always thought that Chiwetel is such an amazing actor.
He is.
Why isn't he one of the immortals? Why didn't he play Booker? He would have played Booker better. He could have played some, uh, you know, some guy who was, enslaved, or he was one of those free men from the colonies or something. And, it would have been wicked. It would have been cool. He could have even
No,
been this
no,
Egyptian
I
badass.
do like the fact that he was tracing them. I do like the fact that he had this whole
But
poster.
another actor could have done that.
No, no,
So
no.
they could have flipped the roles.
No, I do like he's like checking on them, but he should be on the good side. He was still at the beginning with the pharmaceutical, like with the fake. I mean, he didn't know that he was doing something for the society, but it wasn't like. I mean, you said like he wanted to be in the good side, isn't it, at the
What he was trying
beginning?
to do was unlock it so that he could make it a gift to humanity because
Mm.
of his wife's death, because his wife was dying of ALS. Um,
Like a
uh,
guardian,
yeah, like
like he found out about this, like I mean, when he was testing this, I don't know, he found out, and then he came to know about them, and then he becomes a guardian to them, and then these bad guys come in search for the pharmaceutical, I don't know, and some other guy plays the bad guy to find them.
exactly
I
like I was
mean,
saying. Like what should have happened was is that there should have been a group of ancient kind of like people. They're like religious or power hungry
his
people,
maybe his
and they evolve.
his grandparents were involved with them, and then it was
Yeah,
passed on to
yeah,
him,
yeah. Like
and
so, they've
then
always had protectors.
yeah, like a guardian, like a
Yeah,
protector,
guardians.
like
Yeah,
from like from parents to I mean
yeah.
from grandparents to parents to him, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and the humans take care of them. A group of humans.
Yeah, like he's the guardian of this, for them.
That would have been great.
I
But
mean,
Chiwetel Ejiofor is such an amazing actor with such a brilliant
he
range.
is
He
definitely
really
a good
he
actor.
really can be an immortal. He can actually sell that. As him and Charlize would have had a great dynamic, meaning that
Oh my god,
they
just
met each other for
yes,
so many years. They've known each other for so many years.
exactly.
So instead of Matthias being Booker, I would have flipped the roles. So Matthias would have played James Copley,
Mm-hmm.
and Chiwetel Ejiofor should have played Booker.
The Booker betrayed them. Why you want?
Because Chiwetel, I mean, you don't have to have Chiwetel Ejiofor betray them. Chiwetel Ejiofor could have played a different character. He could have played this really wicked
I wanted.
Egyptian master
How do you
assassin or
pronounce his name
something.
again, please? Sorry, Han.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Stuartle.
Ejiofor.
Ejiofor. Okay.
Yeah.
If he was always the good side with Charlize, I mean, That's what we want because both of them are really good actors and they could have portrayed their full talent in the movie. And also the action part as well when she went out, like just the fight she had. What do you think about that scene, honey?
You mean the bit where she fights those 20 guys in the
Yes,
church?
when they told like, I'll come out when I tell you, like when you get a
It's a
signal.
bit basic.
I'm like
The action's basic for 70 million, I tell you.
It should be more wicked. I don't know, with the X and flying and lightning and I don't know, break the.
I mean, like, if you were an ancient, human, it would have been amazing if you amassed so much sorcery, martial arts, intelligence, stealth skills. You had basically found every kind of charm, every kind of magical artifact or something in the world that made you have an edge in battle. You would be a master archer. You would be a master, you wouldn't like necessarily even need a gun. You could be so good with an axe that you could kill like 5, 10 people with it, and then get machine gunned up, but it doesn't matter. You get what I mean? So there's a lot of things, like that they could have done a lot better. They could have done a lot better. Because if I was immortal and I had many years, I'd go Japan. I'd learn samurai swordsmanship, how to build my own sword. I'd learn archery from the best people. I'd learn, wushu from Chinese masters. I'd go, learn Krav Maga. All anything basically I could amass knowledge and power. I'd know
I
every
mean, they
language,
could have created their own ancient fights. I don't know, which
their own
no,
style. Yeah,
yes, that which nobody knows about it. I
yeah,
mean,
and you can't defeat it. It's like
yeah,
some.
it's some kind of could have created with that 70 million. I'm sorry, I'm saying this again. They could have created their own way of fighting, which is not even existing in this movie in this era, and they are bringing in that they are the special force. They are the special people who have the power, who can do that, who can pass on. I mean, they can pass it on. Even they have their healing power. The fight, the movement, they can be still passed on, right?
Yeah, I mean they could have their own mercenary kind of
I mean, he does. I
school
mean, I like. I mean,
organization.
I do understand, like the fact that they can go to Japan and learn, but it's already existing. But there, they can have their own way, which has never existed in
Yeah,
this.
because you take the best of everything and then you make your
Yeah,
own. I mean, you're old. You're like over 200 years old.
I think it was more than that. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, you're not telling me that you would save a little bit of money? You put a little bit of coins away, right? Some
Yeah.
kind of Syrian coins or some doubloons in some kind of bank or something. You get what I mean? And then pick it up as your grandson or something years later.
Yeah.
It's a bit whack, Should they
How
be
about the
like
scientists?
gazillion years and stuff? Oh, he was crap. I didn't even like him. Yeah, Harry Mealing from Harry Potter, I think it is. He played Stephen Merrick. He just played that, classic British kind of dickhead kind of CEO who's like, "Oh, I'm the best. I'm gonna dissect you guys like worms and shit." So he didn't have any even in Bloodshot, the other guy he played that kind of greedy CEO better, in the Sony Bloodshot film than this. I have to say that I'm quite disappointed in this film. It was. I really wanted this to be amazing, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Gina tried. She's a competent director, so shot well. Don't have a problem with that. What we have a problem with is the story.
The
The
plot.
execution of the story.
Yes, the execution.
It's just like it just doesn't. There's too many things that just don't make sense. And then everyone would say, "Oh yeah, wait for the sequel, wait for the sequel." But in the first film, you should have had such an amazing setup that you're burning to watch a sequel. I'm not even interested in seeing the sequel or seeing anything to do with this law again. There's nothing. There's nothing exciting about it. Highlander is better because at least people get their heads cut off, and then the knowledge and power is transferred to the other mall, and then they're fighting for the prize. So there really needs to be
I
a
mean,
reboot of Highlander badly.
simple example. I mean, this is not related, but when I saw Fast and Furious,
Yeah.
I was dying to see the next movie.
Yeah, and Charlize was amazing in that.
Like literally, I was dying. And when I saw the first movie, it was so good, and I couldn't wait for the next one and the next one and the next one. I mean, some of them were good, some of them were okay, but it still had
We'll do the podcast on those
yes,
ones.
definitely.
Yeah.
But what I meant is like when we saw the first movie, we should have the appealing that like not able to wait to watch the next movie. I do not have that when I saw this movie. Sorry to
Absolutely.
say this.
Absolutely. So, babe, like, talk about some of the other beats that we picked up on. Did we cover most of the stuff?
Yes, only the last part is the Asian lady who got drowned, and when she came back, again,
Yeah.
a predictable scene.
So she got put into Iron Maiden, and then
Mm-hmm.
this is another thing that I have a really whack thing about. You're immortal, and your girlfriend is basically like best friend or girlfriend. I'm not sure if they were lovers. They never really kind of like made that clear. But you've been thrown in the ocean, right? And you technically don't know where you are, but you knew where you started. So you could extrapolate from where you started, where the ships could have sailed out to. Then what you could have done is built an entire marine company, yeah, to start basically um, searching the seabed for the Iron Maiden. Do you get what I mean? And then they work out in a grid. And it would have taken maybe 10, 20 years of grid work, but you would have eventually found her. So this whole abandoning your friend who can heal and is drowning constantly but somehow survived, this is weird. Now the only way that I think that she could have escaped was is that either a shark came coming for like nub nubs, right? Yeah, and opened or bit the lock, and then she escaped, or the rust. It just got too rusty, and the lock broke loose or something.
I mean, the thing is that
And then
you were right of finding her. I mean, Charlize had the power to do that, and she's been there in the world for centuries.
Exactly.
For centuries.
You're telling me you can't build a company?
If for centuries you could have hunt the I don't know, man.
What I would have done is I would have had it so that she was looking for her for ages, but she was drowned so much that her mind fractured, so that the evil organization turned her against them. So she's one immortal who's on their side.
Yeah.
Because her mind is twisted.
Yeah, definitely.
So that would have been sad. Imagine your best friend who you love a
And
lot,
in the second
is now the
movie.
villain and leading
Yeah,
them.
and then in the second
Yeah, and she
movie.
kills the guy, the head of the order, and then she's like, I'm in control now. Do you get
Yeah,
what I mean? That would have been cool, right? Because the
Yeah.
guy had some kind of governor or some kind of slaver where he could turn on the healing and not. So when he turned it off, her lungs started to, die again from the drowning or something. So she finds a way to control that machine.
I mean, that way you
Yeah.
can. I mean, I'm assuming that the reason that she came back in the last part is for the second sequel, yeah.
Yeah, so she's gonna make her own group with
But the way
Booker.
you said it, it could have been something different. But I don't understand the fact that she has the power. She was there for centuries. She could at least try to hunt down where her friend is.
I know, and this is why I'm a better filmmaker and writer. I've got so many wicked
I
ideas.
wish
I'm already fixing the film without needing to, like I just feel like I need to just go off and write my own one.
I mean, I really wish people can hear us, Han, and then literally give us the chance, give you the chance with your amazing, amazing ideas,
Because
guys.
there's films that you guys haven't even seen yet that I wish the world could see. They're just amazing. I mean, if you loved stuff like Star Wars and X-Men and all this kind of stuff, the X-Men film that I could make, you'd never even seen it. You'd see something so comically accurate and great.
It's just in his mind. It's just in his ideas. I'm hearing it, but I wish we could do it in a movie, and I wish the world can see it. And you guys will not be, you guys will be blown away. I'm not just saying it because we are in this group. I'm saying it as an individual, as a person. I mean, I love movies. I love all kinds of movies. Yeah, but when we see it, we need to have the as a viewer, we need to have that appealing. Oh God, what's gonna happen next? Oh God, like this is interesting. Oh, this is a twist. Oh, I thought this is gonna happen. Did this happen? I mean, this is why we have audience. This is why the entertainment industry is. Why don't you give us the chance to do that? Why? There's a big question why. So if you give us the chance, and if we do it, and if when you see it, you will see the whole lot of difference. And I'm not just saying it because we are doing this podcast, but I'm saying it because sometimes when we have the idea and we don't have the ability to portray it, it really really puts us down, especially you, right, Han?
Yeah, it hurts
I
because
mean, this is we need to give chance to people like Ray, I'm sure there are people out there, but people should give the chance to give out the ideas to the world to do it in a different way. Because why they're doing it for you people, for us, so we can watch it, we can enjoy it, something different, something elegant, something what we enjoy it, what we can talk about. Why we're not given the chance? I don't understand, Han. I'm sorry, I'm blabbering too much, but
you're not, baby. You're just talking what you're feeling in your
I
heart,
don't
and it's great.
understand sometimes, but I really wish, like
You know what it's like to feel the pain of what you feel as a creative. I've been doing this for about 13 years. So I started off with like the tiniest camera, I didn't have anything, and I built my company up from scratch. And to see basically Bond movies go by, Star Wars movies go by with different teams, and they try to do their own spin on it, but it never hits this creative sweet spot that I have. I have this, there's an amazing kind of like creative energy. I don't know what it is, but from some sort of the dreams I have, the things I write, I don't know how they form, but they're very unique to me, and all I've ever wanted to do is create for the world. I'm only ever happiest when I'm with Pri and I'm making my movies with the Rep Knights. That's the two moments when I'm very happy. And to have Pri in my life is a real great blessing, and baby, I really love that you're with me in this journey, and that I found you to do this stuff because you get to see basically where we are and where we're going, and it's an amazing journey, and I wouldn't want to spend it with anyone else. This also is something that is very important to me, that you guys, who listen, you guys support us to Rep Nice, because I know that when I'm in that seat, when I'm in that chair, I can make a huge difference. I can make a huge amount of light on this world in film. And I just need to, I need you guys, once you see Rogue Legacy, once we wrap up that film, because that's taking quite a bit of time to finish, but it is really good.
It's gonna be
Um,
one of the epic movie,
yeah, it
definitely, honey.
really changes
With
the way people
whatever, with
perceive
what
us.
the good part is, with whatever minimum budget that we're gonna do it, we're gonna give our maximum effort
Very
to
true.
make it
Very true.
happen, to whatever we can, to make it sure that the people out there, you guys listening, you will love it. We
Yeah.
will make that
Yeah.
happen. And you guys,
This is a comic book movie. Like compared to Oh God, this is a real comic book movie, Rogue Legacy. I
one
mean,
day, honey, one
yeah.
day.
And what's really amazing is I'm very, very, very thankful of the views that we've gotten for Magoo's video. So our last release was Magoo's A Song from the Mirror video. I did it for his album, so I did his album inlay, his entire album campaign, all the press photos, the EP photos, the cinematography for the video, the second day cinematography. Josh was my main DOP, Josh White, and I just want to really thank him for his work. We worked really hard on that video, and really helped Magoo get the kind of label recognition he needed. So he went off to New York. He had like a big party there, and he had a nice album release, and then got signed to a subsidiary of Sony. So that's really, 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 really great for me as a filmmaker to be able to provide the tools to an artist so that they can get where they want to go in the next point of their career. So yeah, it's great. I love working with indie unsigned artists, people coming up. I want to work with a lot of named artists too, and I hope one day I get to work with some of the top people out there, some of the top rock bands and R&B singers, and pop stars and stuff. Um, I just love what I do, and I love movies. And I thought that this film, like Joey Ansah played Keen. Keen was a very cliche role. Joey Ansah was like, if you blink, you kind of like will forget whoever the character was. So, there's a lot of really kind of lame setups and lame scenes in the film. The film doesn't really click with me, and that's the problem with the movie. The film has some problems.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wish, it just came up in my mind. I wish, like, one day, and like when we make our movie, yeah, and some other lovely, sweet couple do a podcast on your movie, and they say like they were right.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
That'll be amazing for us,
Yeah,
definitely. I
I can't
mean,
wait the day that people want to invite me to a podcast and they think that I'm just unreachable, but I just move heaven and earth in my schedule to talk to them. Like every fan, everybody's always gonna be appreciated by me. I'm not that kind of person to. The only thing is, just don't come in like when I'm taking a whiz or something and ask me for my autograph. We were talking about this before
I'm
on
like,
another podcast. So I'm like
uh-oh.
taking a leak, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I
Uh-oh.
saw your film, man. It was wicked."
it's
Like,
not
yeah,
it's
like
not coming out.
it's so true.
uh,
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff coming out now that COVID's starting to. Well, it's not really settling, but thank God that we can start kind of going out again, because being in the home was quite restless. And all my thoughts and well wishes go to everybody who's basically been tolerating this outbreak. Together we are stronger as humanity. So we must keep fighting and working together for this. To progress our future. And as a rep nice, I'm gonna continue making fun stuff for you guys to digest. And House of Rep is one of them. I love doing this show. I really love it. It's almost like therapy for me. I love it because I get to talk about films, get my thoughts out there,
Yeah,
and you guys get to hear a voice to the name. I'm Ray Janjua,
definitely.
the future of filmmaking. I like to say, which is true.
Definitely, I
Yeah.
totally agree.
So, Pre, any other things you want to talk about this film?
Nothing. I'm
So,
done.
it's time for the shields then. So, what
Yeah.
shields are you gonna give? What rating are you gonna give this film?
Well, the trailer and the poster and some of the action scenes were good. So I'll say 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I give 2 shields, guys.
2 shields from Pre, so that's pretty good. Pre's being a bit generous with the film. I feel. Personally, I'm gonna give it 1 shield because I don't see myself watching it again, and also I feel that you wasted a lot of great talent, and the script could have been a lot better. Budget could have been used a lot better. Hopefully, if there is a sequel, we'll see if it's better. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I really thought that this would be a lot better. But I want to congratulate Gina basically for directing this. She's one of the first black women to direct a big budget comic book film. So kudos to her. So that's great progression. I hope that
Keep going.
keep making them, keep going. We want to see you do a DC or a Marvel film. See you put your own stamp on it, and then hopefully one day I'm there, and then we can talk about film together over some coffee or some tea or something. All of us directors, in this amazing, family of filmmakers. So it's always been my intent to meet as many fellow filmmakers as possible, and talk to them about films. So it's brilliant. I love it. I love these things. So yeah, I mean, like, check it out. Form your own opinion. This is the opinion of us, and what we think was good and not good about the film. And right now, it's like one of the top films on Netflix. So if you've got a Netflix account, check it out. If you don't have a Netflix account, subscribe. And check the movie out. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, Charlize was one of the best things about the film. Her
Yeah.
performance was amazing.
Charlize and the other character.
Chiwetel Ejiofor was great too.
Yes.
They're the two standout performances in the film, so they're really good. I mean, Charlize has a lot of brilliant, weight to her as an actress. She's been doing this for a long time. She's very, 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 very good at what she does. She's a very good actress. She's amazing as Furiosa. Furiosa is one of my favorite characters in Mad Max. So that new Mad Max film was amazing. So I'll be doing a House of Rep on that. And yeah, just want to kind of wrap it up. I want to thank Pre for joining me as always. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I'll catch you guys on the next episode of the House of Rep.
Thank you guys for listening.